Okay, I have a new routine to share with you today. And as you can see, I have a full deck of cards here. They're well mixed. In fact, we don't actually need the whole deck for this, fortunately. Otherwise, that would take too long. I think we can get away with just 9 cards. So why don't we just randomly cut at some location and take a look at what cards we've cut to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, very good. In fact, we'll need the remaining cards because I'm going to have you make a free selection from there in just a moment. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and just give these cards a bit of a mix here. This is a Monge over-under. And then we could follow that up with a Klondike shuffle. Another great way to mix cards, actually. Okay, and now what I need you to do is randomly choose any card from the remainder of the deck here. And it really is a free choice. So when you go to perform this selection by the spectator is genuinely a free choice. So maybe they'll choose this one right here. I have no idea what it is. And so what we're going to do is, because there's 2 of us here, you and me as the performer, we're going to use the identity of this card to randomize the packet. Okay, let me just show you how we'll do that. So it looks like it's a 3 of clubs. So what we're going to do is just spell out the 3 of clubs twice, since there's 2 of us here. So T-H-R-E-E-O-F, C-L, U-B-S, 3 of clubs, the second time. T-H-R-E-E-O-F-C-L, U-B-S. Okay, well, with all of the mixing we did with the Monge and Klondike and this, we call this a double hypercoating there. These cards are mixed enough for us to move ahead. What's that? You think we should mix the cards more? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and mix the cards further to allay any suspicions here. So what we're going to do, and you're going to tell me kind of how to do things, I'm going to deal the cards into 3 piles, and we'll stack the piles from left to right or right to left. It's a free choice. You want to go left to right? Okay, very good. Let's see, we can do another one of those. You want left to right or right to left? Left to right again. Okay. Okay, why don't we just do a couple more times so you don't fall asleep. Right to left. Okay, very good. And then maybe one more. How would you like them stacked? Left to right, a 3rd time. Okay, very good. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to Klondike 2 pairs to you and 2 pairs to me. Now, because we have 9 cards, we're going to have like a lone survivor here because we have an odd number of cards. So let's just take a look at what card that is. Kind of a nice card. Ace of Spades. And so what I need you to do in just a moment is I'm going to have you look at the identity of your cards. There's 4 of them. Same thing for me. And the game will go as follows. We're allowed to, let me turn this right side up. We're allowed to mentally add this to our hand of 4, giving us a complete hand of 5 cards. Same thing for me. So you just have to kind of think through how good is your hand if this is added to your 4, and I'll do the same. But before we even take a look at either one of our piles, I believe I saw the future. Not perfectly, not in detail, but I saw kind of the outlines of what would more or less happen at the very end of the dealing here in the mixing performed by you to a great degree. You are making essential choices along the way. So what is it I predicted would happen, even if it's not super specific here? Let's just take a look. Okay, the claim is the lucky one, I guess between the 2 of us, will finish with a royal flush. Okay, I don't know. That's pretty unlikely, as you know. Royal flushes are extremely unlikely. What about the unlucky soul? The unlucky one will finish with a full house. Okay. Well, first off, we have to determine if this is even true, and how could I possibly have seen it ahead of time. And then, if it is true, it's going to clearly announce to the world who is the lucky one between the 2 of us. Okay, so either a full house. So, if you're here, you'd look at your cards. What did you get? So if we add these to that, you get a full house. 3 sevens and 2 aces. Okay. Well, that would suggest, if our prediction is true, that I did quite a bit better. The claim is that the future would give the lucky one among us a royal flush. And apparently it's in spades, which is just as good as any other suit. Okay, wow. So how do we do that? Well, this is more of a demonstration of some principles that you can use in countless ways. Okay, so this particular application is not something you need to do unless you would like to. And if you perform what I'm going to show you here, it will work for you. But if you understand the underlying principles, you can create hundreds of card effects that are just mind-blowing. Okay, so first off, I want to point you to, in the description below, I have a video called The New Stay Stack Principle. Now, if you're familiar with the traditional stay stack principle, that is used extensively throughout mathematical card magic. It's just all over the place. And it was a great discovery when it was made. But I have discovered a stay stack principle for odd size packets instead of just even size packets. And so that's what's in the description below. It's not that long of a video. So if you watch that, you'll kind of see what's going on with this, and then you can build your own packets. So what I decided to do for just this quick routine is have it come out in the very way that it did here. Okay, so I had 2 sets of cards, 10 of spades through the king of spades, kind of as a group of 4, and then these other cards that are going to make up the full house. And then I had the ace of spades in the middle of these 2 sets of 4 here. So all of these cards here were arranged in this way. Now, if you mentally assign ones, so if you kind of call this a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 1 here, and these are, quote, zeros, you can write this as 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. Now, both of these are what we call quasi-Bessey sequences of order 4. Okay, and they have just a whole universe of incredible properties. But these are the ones that we want, and then we have the ace of spades in the middle. Well, first off, I had this packet arranged roughly in the middle of the packet, and as you might guess, I used a breather crimp to confidently cut to the beginning of this set of 9, and then I just dealt them out. Okay, so that's how I got them on the table. I then performed a Monge Klondike combo that constitutes a false shuffle. Also, for a packet of 9 cards, if you spell out any of the 52 card names twice in the way that I showed you, it brings the packet back to original order. Meaning, if you do it twice, it doesn't hurt the packet. The packet's back to whatever arrangement you had at the start. So 2 identical hypercoatings constitute a false shuffle. And I can add links in the description below to that as well. It's a very powerful result in principle to be aware of, because you can use it for so many different situations. Okay, and then this new stay stack principle, if you take a look at it, what it tells you is for this packet of 9 cards, which has divisors of 3 itself and 1, but kind of non-trivial divisors are just 3. Because 3 divides the packet size 9, you can actually deal out this packet into 3 piles with random stacking from left to right or right to left, and it preserves, quote, what we call the mirrored structure here. Because the fact is, on the outer ends, picture these as 1s, then 0s, then 0s, and 1s. It's kind of the mirrored reflection of itself. Okay, that's what this property is referring to. Now, more specifically for this routine, the only thing you need to keep track of is when you deal out into 3 piles with random stacking decided by the spectator, you need to be sure that in the end, an odd number of those are performed in which you stack from right to left. Okay? So it doesn't matter how many dealings into 3 piles, stacking left to right. You can do as many of those as you like. It won't harm anything. But If the spectator wants some of those stacked from right to left, you just need to be sure that an odd number of those were done. Now in the performance, I think I just had one stacking from right to left. One is odd, so we're safe. So all of this is going to work just fine. In fact, I have a write-up at the very bottom giving the details of what's going on. So stacking from left to right, any number, you don't have to worry about that. The only number of stackings you need to worry about are the ones from right to left. If the spectator, for whatever reason, chooses an even number of times to stack from right to left, well, all you would need to do is say, boy, we've dealt out the cards a lot here. And if I'm not mistaken, most of your stacking was from left to right. But to be sure that we're really mixing the cards, why don't we do it one more time and stack from right to left to kind of bring those in balance, which will increase the chances that these cards are scrambled as well as they possibly could be, or something like that. So come up with a reason that you think it would be good to deal out one more time into 3 piles, and we'll stack from right to left and call it good and move on from there. Okay, so that's the effect, and I really encourage you to take a look at the videos linked below. I'll have a few linked below, but this one especially, this new Stay Stacked principle. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.